Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Piofiore 1926. Most likely, going to get Dante's good ending in this part because we're here at the final countdown. And yeah, there's no more choices or side stories or anything in this chapter, so this should be it. So yeah. The premises were now closed to the public. The last of the tourists had departed, leaving only us on the rooftop. The cupola seemed to glow in the last remaining light of the sunset. And there he appeared. Ah, I've been waiting for you, Space. Teo wasn't smiling at all. Oops, sorry, I hit the button. Unable to imagine what went through his mind now, I could only watch him silently. Dante took a step forward, placing himself between me and Teo. You must be Teo, the one who moved both Raoul and the Lu Huanhu to threaten the Visconti and destroy the Falzone. Well, I cannot deny that I set it all up. Then again, I didn't create the grudges they harbored for you from the beginning. They needed only a push in the right direction. I offered my advice, but I never gave orders. He nonchalantly replied as though he was in the right, then looked straight at me. Tell me, Teo, why do you want us dead? Teo paused for a moment, then slowly began to speak. But the next words that escaped him were not what I could have ever expected. I'm going to guess the next words are going to be absolutely what we expect, where he tells us that we're his sister. My parents left me, you see. Before I realized it, I was living in a horrible facility with only enough food to survive. Okay, that I assume she wasn't expecting, but we kind of know because we saw that. Are you implying that your past is somehow connected to the Falzone? Theo sighed with disbelief. Perhaps if you employed a bit of patience, my full story could be told uninterrupted. Since you're so eager, I shall get to the point. My name is Teo Adornato. I am her brother. Huh? My mind froze. Dante frowned and quietly responded in my place. She has no brother. His words reminded me of what he said earlier. We found records of your parents' residence there. We didn't know where exactly they lived, so I sent Leo there to find out, but it seems the trails reached a dead end. Sorry. He only mentioned my parents, but was he also told that I had no siblings? At the very least, her parents had no other children at the time of her birth. I would have loved to prove you wrong. However, it is true that I'm not her brother in the traditional sense. Dante glared at Teo, but he simply shrugged and continued. I suppose you could say she was abducted as a baby. Her parents were told it was for the best and were given a large sum of money. Which is why they sought a new child to replace the one they lost, to ease their loneliness. They were unfortunately not blessed with another child, so they decided to adopt one instead. Which means... Does this eye remind you of anyone's? Theo pointed to his right eye, which was green. It's so funny because the times we met him, like maybe when we met him in Nicola's route and we're like, oh, like our eyes are the same. We might have seen I think we saw them then. In this one, he always had it covered, so we never would have seen that our eyes were similar, you know? Now that I think of it, his eye was hidden behind his hair when I met him in Berlin. Both this eye and my hair looked just like yours. The two reasons why they chose me. I was born slightly earlier than you, which is why they never failed to remind me that I was your older brother. Well, that mattered very little after their deaths. Deaths? Teo's story had been a series of surprises, but this revelation was more than I could handle. Power has changed hands within the church. My superiors have gained greater prominence, allowing me access to much information. Information such as my little sister being the key maiden. Information that she was now living with the Mafia. Surprising indeed. My research into the matter proved quite interesting. The previous key maiden's parents had also been murdered. heard this story before. Yeah, from Henry.
My family and I lived our lives as commoners. But one day, my parents were killed by the Mafia. Our family was attacked because my sister, Chloe Lambert, was the key maiden.
But the thing is in this case, I don't think the Mafia killed our family. Or did they? God damn it, Dante! Your parents killed my parents? There's some Romeo and Juliet level shit going on here. Families fighting and shit, but like it. It's not a stretch to imagine that the previous boss of the Falzone family knew that the Key Maiden's family was often marked for death. So you see, he simply took you away without saying a word of it to your parents. No surprise, then, that they met their untimely deaths, and I was thrown from that short, happy life back into hell. And that's why you blame the Falzone. What Teo revealed to us must have been as shocking to Dante as it was to me. Though Dante appeared pained, Teo continued as though he felt nothing. Well, for a while I did, but after a bit of thought, I realized there was a greater evil than the Falzone. Teo then looked at me. His eyes were so consumed by hatred that I almost gasped. Space, you are that evil. Because you were the Key Maiden, because you were so desired by all, I was made to feel the misery of losing my family. I mean, I can't blame him for being pissed about, I finally found a family and then they were brutally murdered, but how is that my fault? Like, you are putting the hate on the wrong person here at the church. Maybe the Falzones. I don't know. I don't know who killed our parents, but I'm just saying. The church is the one that abused you. It's like, I am mad at my neighbor and I'm going to kill him because the church abducted me and abused me. You know what I mean? Like, there's just like, this makes a little bit more sense than that scenario, but I'm just saying it still doesn't make any sense, He spat out his words like a curse that held me in place. He resented my very birth. It never occurred to me that my mere existence could affect a stranger's life so profoundly. Really? 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 It never occurred to you that your existence could affect a stranger's life so profoundly when we're like a key maiden and tied via destiny or some shit to like Dante and the Falzone? Because I feel like that is the perfect scenario for feeling exactly what you said you've never thought of. Like, you know what? Like, girl, where have you been? I mean, I don't think like, wow, my very existence made this person so angry they wanted to kill me. I get that, because I don't think most of us have ever considered that there's someone out there that hates us so much they want to stab us, but... Suddenly, I heard slow footsteps echoing across the terrace. Henry!
I know I have little right to say this. You truly have been seized by delusion.
Appearing in front of us was the previous Key Maiden's younger brother. The same person who had disappeared from sight ever since that night at the church. Henry, why are you here? Henry gave no answer. Teo looked at Henry and scoffed as though he was trying to provoke him. You came all the way here to annoy me. I should have killed you long ago. Or have you come instead to fulfill your role? Teo and Henry are acquainted? From his choice of words, I couldn't tell if they had once been friends.
My role.
Henry mumbled and slowly made his way towards us. But soon he stopped again, standing still in a place that was as far from us as it was from Teo.
You say that her parents were killed because she was the Key Maiden. And that is to say, she robbed you of your newfound home.
Yes. Teo replied in an irritated tone, to which Henry nodded.
I see. However, had she never been born, her parents would have never thought to adopt a child to replace her.
I have to sneeze, hold on.
You gained a family because of your similarity to her. You were not made miserable as a result of her existence. In fact, the only happy memories you have are owed to it.
That's crap. Absolute nonsense. Teo glared at Henry like he wanted to kill him, but Henry continued unbothered.
A different perspective. I thought I might offer one for your benefit, although I understand it means little to you after what's happened.
Damn it! Who cares what you think? All the suffering I've been through. I can't allow her to be the only one happy. The only one happy? Wow, that came out weird, but whatever. Teo, it was difficult to look into such eyes that despise me. It's kind of interesting because all the other times you're like, why does he hate us so much? The deal, now we know. That someone like a brother could think this way about me felt like a knife in my chest. All I could do was listen to what he said and accept the truth that I caused him so much pain.
Certainly, by comparison, she has had a blessed life. She knew no hunger and grew up surrounded by the love of good people. You must accept, Teo, that your grudge was born from jealousy.
Also, the church being a bag of dicks and abusing you. Teo stiffened, but soon enough he returned to his senses and his crazed eyes sharpened. I don't think he's returning to his senses, because I think his senses left a long time ago. What's wrong with that? She was loved by her parents, and she wasn't even there. Blessed is an understatement. Teo's voice dripped with seemingly every ounce of loathing he felt. That's the reason you're trying to kill her? That you tried to take down the Falzone all because... You resented that I was happy? I mean, when you say it like that, it sounds really stupid. I mean, it sounded kind of crazy before, but now it just sounds stupid. Teo looked at me with cold eyes as we just start laughing. Oh my god, that's the dumbest thing I've heard. It really kind of is, though, you know what I mean? You're like, do you hear yourself? Do you realize how batshit insane this sounds, you know? He gritted his teeth in silence before answering. That's right. But then it dawned on me that I needed to confirm something first. Confirm what? That maybe you weren't as happy as I thought. Perhaps your abduction by the Mafia had made you experience misery of your own kind. In those bad endings, yeah. Some of them. Not all of them. A couple of them are really hot. Like, that one Nicola bad ending. I'm here for that. I felt I could forgive you if you were living a life of misfortune, which is why I went to meet you. And then I saw how happy you were. Well, you see, a sweet girl like you living with the Mafia, it made me a little worried that they were bullying or disrespecting you. Yeah, only that one guy, but not to worry. Everyone's really nice there. You're like, shit, of all the times, to be honest! And so, how painful would it be to see those who were so kind to you be murdered? After all, I needed my dear little sister to taste the pain of losing her home, too. More than anger or hatred, what I heard most in his voice was an undeniable sorrow. Henry, who had been listening, gave a sigh.
Words I would expect from a young child. You're only blaming her for your misfortune.
Huh? What? And you are so different? What I'm doing and what you're doing are the same, exacting our vengeance. Dante turned to look at Henry as though wanting to see for himself Henry's true intentions. Though Henry's eyes were still fixed on Teo, perhaps he knew that he was being watched.
I still bear my grudge against the Falzone, but who really is to blame for all of it? The true source of my misery was the relic, and the story behind the key maiden that's being abused by the church to serve their own needs.
But for a moment, Teo seemed shaken, as if something in those words resonated with him.
After her parents died, it was the church that offered you a place, and in so doing escaped your condemnation.
That's enough! The hell do you even know? The air shook as Teo fought loudly against Henry, trying to drown out the words he spoke. Now infuriated, Teo's fists were shaking. Dante spoke to him in a calm, bold voice. Seriously, this is where Dante's like, I'm just gonna kill him, that's cool, right? Good for Dante that he didn't just whip out his gun and shoot him in the forehead after all this. Because I'm just saying, that's what I expect a mafia boss to do. It's the Falzone's fault for not protecting you, Henry's family, or her parents. You clearly see her as your sister and yourself as her brother. Yet you don't see that she's a victim like you. You instead wish her misery. Shut up! Teo let out a roar, immediately charging toward Dante while brandishing a large knife. See, this is why you should have shot him before. While he was on his goddamn monologue. He quickly closed the distance between them and thrust his knife at Dante's chest. Dante quickly pushed me away while dodging the blade. Not bad for a priest. Have you any idea the training a disciple undergoes? It's bone-breaking. Only a handful manage to become disciples. Disciples? So, he's the same as Orlok? That would explain Teo's movements and physical prowess. She may not have had parents, but she was still loved at that church, and even found loved in the damned Mafia. Even as he spoke, he moved with such agility that his knife nearly slashed Dante's neck. In the same instant, Dante drew out his gun and used the handle to block Teo's blade.
You should move back a little further. Should the fight involve you, he'll give up his own defense for your protection.
I obeyed Henry immediately and hurried away from the fight to a safe distance. She had her own problems, not knowing who her parents were. When Spacey was a child, she even ran away from the church. What he said was true, but how did Dante know that? I never told him that story. He knows because he was like our little stalker boy. My question was answered in seconds. The Falzone received reports on the Key Maiden's whereabouts, and overheard the report being given to my father by a subordinate. She left the church in search of her true home. She wandered the streets, searching desperately for the parents she was certain were there. She hides her sorrow so that others won't see, and will not allow any harm to come to her. She's been dragged into danger again and again by others, and she's never once complained. She didn't experience your suffering, but does that mean she didn't suffer? She has her own past to bear. You have no right to deny it. You don't need to tell me. Just shut up! He violently spat out his words. See, Dante was eloquent in that shit, and Teo's just like, Teo, seriously, step it up. Whiny little bitch. In the next moment, he was rapidly approaching Dante again. As he raised his knife into the air, it gleamed in the last traces of sunlight. The brilliance of the sun may have blinded Dante. His movement slowed for a second. That second was more than enough for Teo. His knife, high into the air, came down with full force to claim Dante's life. No, it didn't. I was like, no, it didn't. It's not going to kill Dante. I was not expecting Henry to jump in the way. Oh, Henry. Thank you for saving Dante. This does hurt, though. You know, good for him, though. He, like, redeemed his little angry little self. I wondered why Henry now stood between Dante and Teo. The knife that had swung down found its place deep in Henry's chest. Oh, my poor little Phantom of the Casino. It wasn't that Henry was faster than Teo. It was as though he anticipated the very moment and took the blow in Dante's place. As Teo stood frozen in shock, Dante aimed his gun squarely at him. Didn't even hesitate. Good. The bullet pierced Teo's abdomen. He staggered back from the shot, and in the process pulled the knife from Henry's chest. No, now he's going to bleed to death. The knife might have stopped it a little. Not that hospitals in 1926 are probably going to be able to save him, so he's dead either way. But I'm just saying, there was a chance. Unable to support himself, Henry fell to the ground, covered in blood. Yeah, no, he's definitely dead now. Teo struggled to regain his balance against the terrace railing. Why did you useless vengeance, you damn liar. Teo growled with rage through his pain. I instinctively ran to Henry's side to try and stop the bleeding. Teo, you too, you need to... Shut up! Why on earth are you worried about me? You're so damn stupid! Teo cursed at me in frustration. Teo, please, I don't want you to die. I do. I'm just saying. I see. If you're gonna look at me with that pitiful face. Huh? Couldn't hear what Teo was saying over the sound of the wind. Oh, he's gonna jump over the railing. He looked toward Dante, who still had his gun up, and smiled as blood dripped down his chin. No need to waste your bullet. I was really hoping to kill her lover in front of her, but I doubt I can do that anymore. As a matter of fact, I don't want anyone to bother me now. I won't let anyone end my life. His voice grew weaker and weaker. Yeah, he's going to jump over that railing. Gonna back up. Theo slowly leaned back against the railing, and I thought he was going to, fall over, and then after this, I'm like, nah, he's going to let himself fall over. He fell into the vast sunset. Going on his own terms! I mean, he was going to die anyway. Oh, we're Teo as we're falling. I would have had to pay for using the Lu Huanhu in Chicago anyway. I'll watch you all from hell to see you get battered by this miserable world. Of course. My very life had been hell from the very beginning. Death wouldn't change anything at all. I bet my sweet little sister is going to cry her eyes out after today. Not a bad end, if you ask me. Space. I hate you. I used to be all alone. Oh, well, that's supposed to be him as a kid, but whatever. But now I have Mama, Papa, and even a little sister. It's a dream come true. Never thought I'd ever have a real family. Everything that I've always wanted. Baby in the family photos, my cute little sister. Far, far apart right now, but I hope we get to meet each other one day. Maybe we'll fight sometimes, but I'll be the first one to apologize. I'm your big brother, after all. It's my job to protect my little sister. We should have read that in a cuter voice, because, this is when he has hopes and dreams and was innocent. Papa and Mama always said I looked just like you. Why did hearing that make my heart hurt a little? Even if it hurts sometimes, I'm just happy knowing we look the same. Cute little sister. Family. The sound of the wind roared in my ears. I instinctively grabbed my chest as the ground came near. Don't forget. And now we have a vengeful ghost. Piofiore, 1927, Haunted America. Couldn't stop Teo. I didn't even know whether I should hate him or not. I was left in utter confusion. Learning that he was my brother made me remember the day I first met him. He talked to me about his little sister. The more I thought about it, the more confused I became. Is it true, everything that Teo said? Were there other truths he left unspoken? I bit my lip to snap out of my thoughts and continued to apply pressure to Henry's wound. I needed to focus on the present. The wound was so deep that I couldn't stop the blood from seeping between my fingers. Suddenly, Henry's bloody hand held mine and gently pushed it away. Don't touch me. His voice was faint and weak, and I felt a lump growing in my throat. Save Dante's life. I can't just let you die. We were both covered in blood, but it was only from the body that the blood continued. It was only from his body that the blood continued to flow. Wow, that was weird. Stretched out quietly over the terrace.
Words from the past returned to mind.
You still have a purpose to fulfill, which is why I'll have you stay put with me until the time comes.
I had not forgiven the keepers of the grave, and there was simply something more unforgivable. Was this the role I was meant to fulfill? I was not decided on saving them when I arrived here. However, I had no regrets about what I chose to do in the end. It was then that I noticed someone was holding my hand.
Aww. We're trying to stop the bleeding and Dante's holding his hand. That's so sweet.
My vision of him was blurred, but I could somehow vaguely hear his voice. A voice speaking carefully, choosing his words to the best of his ability.
I'm sorry. No. Thank you.
I gave a weak smile. I hate the Mafia. Your thanks means nothing to me. That said, that fine young man I met out in town, I did not hate him.
I like how he's like, screw you! I actually don't really hate Dante, though. But he wasn't going to let Dante know that. Adorable. Poor Henry. Henry slowly closed his eyes. The last of his breath vanished into the air. Aww. The top of the basilica was now silent as though nothing had happened. Dusk began settling over the sky, and soon the city would welcome the night. Suddenly, Dante took my blood-stained hand. Without a word, he gently tightened his grip, making sure that I was really there with him. The end. You know there's going to be a little after bit. Yep. Oh, dear God. And we can't skip these, can we? Nope. Nope. Shit. Anyway. Because it's, they act as if, like, you've never played any other one. But it's kind of like, I get it. But it's the same song every time. And it's the same credits, so I do kind of wish there was something coded, like, if you've seen the credits before, to let you skip them. Not you have to play them every single time, but it's okay. It just gives us time to, like, talk over that. I can't believe Henry died. But, you know, at the same time, not surprised. You know? So, I don't know. But Dante's route was a trip. Although, if you think about it, it's still all left out. Like, okay, Henry's thing kind of got wrapped up because he kind of came in, saved us, now he's dead. Teo's dead. But, like, the whole Lu Huan Hus shit is still out there and going on. You know what I mean? Like, that still exists. That is still a problem. That is still, like, you know, wrapped up. So it's kind of like they really, in a way, could do, like, another fan disc. I don't think they would, because I feel like, I mean, they did for Code Realize, but it was more like it's like just little, like, fluffy side stories than more like plot kind of fan disc thing. And, like, Hakuoki's had like 400 fan discs, which haven't been localized, and they should be. You know what I mean? They just don't do, like, they'll do like a fan disc for certain ones, but I don't think they go like, well, we just keep spitting out the fan discs unless it's like a super popular, like, you know, game or whatever. And I don't think this one, obviously it was popular enough that I got a second one. And popular enough that, like, they localized this right the fuck away. Like, I don't think this is that old. You know what I mean? Like thank God for that. I'm just saying, any game, I'm fine with fan discs for almost everything. It's just sometimes there are games that I'm like, this isn't my favorite, and there's a fan disc. And then if there's another one, it's like, I'm obligated to play that fan disc. I don't want to. You know what I mean? This one, I would absolutely play another one. That's fine. I love this game. I'm here for this. And this one was good. Dante's route was great. Anyway, we're not done. So, the young man who sought to bring about the Falzone family's demise had passed away. He was priest from the church. He was priest. I read it exactly like it was printed because I'm like, you did not. God damn it, Tim. Way to ruin it at the end. He was a priest from the church named Teo. For honestly, the young man who sought to bring about the Falzone family's demise had passed away. That could have applied to Henry too. I'm just saying. You didn't really know which way that was going to go. We both called the same people our parents. It was the brother I never knew existed. Though we tried to kill Dante to exact his vengeance, it was Henry who perished instead. Theo was my brother, and Henry was Chloe's. Their lives had both been upheaved by the legend of the Key Maiden and the sacred relic. But in the end they chose their own paths, one to kill and the other to save. As the first stars began to twinkle in the sky, Emilio appeared before us. His kind smile had a touch of sadness, and he told us he would give them a proper burial. Teo would be buried in the graveyard here. Henry would be buried in his homeland. Soon it was the autumn of 1926. Dante and I were visiting Venice, where my parents once lived. Leo had continued the search, now knowing that they had both died years ago. And finally we discovered where our parents were buried. Emilio had entrusted to me a lock of Teo's hair, which I buried between their graves. I gave a solemn prayer for him to finally be at peace and to find his way to our parents. We're good for someone who was trying to get stabbed. You know what I mean? So, everything's finally been settled. Not surprising that the guys in Chicago were working with the Lu Huan Hu to cheat me. The meet ended with us all agreeing that they were never planning on helping the Viscontis set up shop in Chicago. It won't be easy to fold the businesses we built, not to mention the question of whether we can ever wash our hands of it completely. Hey Dante, you really gonna stick to that plan of yours? Yes, we will be staying in Berlin. I know that it won't be easy, but I'll continue to protect my family as their boss. I'll fight until I've exhausted every possible means. If I run out of options, figure out what to do then. I see. Yes, I didn't expect it. Well, the Visconti will be giving up our old gunslinging ways. Instead, we're going to rely entirely on our connections. That means keeping in touch with key players will become more important than ever. So, I'll be counting on you, Dante. Right. That works for me. I'll be happy to lend a hand if you ever need help. Now, tell me, why must I listen to the Visconti's plans while I'm on vacation? Just imagine fucking Dante in a Hawaiian shirt and like khaki fucking cargo shorts. Flip-flops right now. Gilbert contacted the Falzone immediately after returning to Italy. It was then that Nicola, who had also returned, gave him the name of the hotel where I was staying. How can you say that? We're friends, aren't we? You're the one who told me to call you once I got settled. Well, yes, but your timing couldn't be any worse. Let me know more when we're both in Berlin. After finishing the conversation with my friend, I stood up to leave the hotel. I can't wait to see what adorable CG we get for the end. Although I was born here, I had no memories of my life here whatsoever. But my parents and Teo lived in this city. This was the place they called home. It wasn't the city itself, but the thought of my family that made me feel nostalgia. Space, here. Is this... I blinked a few times as I looked at the picture that Dante handed to me. It's a picture of your parents and Teo. Leo found it. I wasn't sure if it was a good idea to show it to you since Teo's in it as well. Dante looked at me with mixed emotions. I know you haven't mentioned it, but were you wanting to talk to Teo back then to learn more about him? Well, yes. I do wish we had more time to talk. Teo was part of my family, and perhaps things could have ended differently. Yeah, I don't think so. He was a bitter asshole. Can't help but wonder about that. By the time we met, his hatred toward me was beyond repair. At least she's aware. You remind me of my little sister, and maybe that's why I feel drawn to you. Teo's words came back to mind. Is there any part of him that meant what he said? My mind searched within convenient scenarios to find a silver lining in what happened. It's probably better that he died, and you can be like, maybe if we had enough time to talk, he would have gotten over it. And Dante's like, do you believe that? And you're like, fuck no, but I'm just going to tell myself that to make myself feel better about it. So I don't think he hated me for no fucking reason, As we continued our stroll, we arrived at the Pont de l'Academia? Pont de l'Academia? Something like that. I can't read Italian. The sunset reflected beautifully upon the water below, making everything around us shine with brilliance. So beautiful. Yes, it is. You're looking at me, not the scenery, aren't you? Love you. We both stood still for a moment to take in the calming beauty of the view spread out before us. Didn't we come to Venice with Yang? Because I know I've seen this background before, but I couldn't remember who we came with. Dante, since I'd never seen my parents' faces, I hadn't really felt it until now. I had a vague idea that they were out there somewhere in a place I didn't know. I'd hoped that they were living happy lives wherever it was they were. But the truth was different. Even Teo... I looked down with sadness in spite of myself, but Dante held my hand gently. I said before at the church that all I want is to see you smile and to see you happy. Seeing your smile makes me want to see more of it. I want to bring you true joy and happiness. Love you, and please always stay by my side. I would never forget what you told me, ever. What he said that day was etched deep within my heart as a precious memory. I want to support you. I want to do more for you now than ever. I lifted my head at the sound of his earnest voice, and Dante's blue eyes looked deeply into mine. If he doesn't propose right now, I'm calling fucking shenanigans. Let me say this once more. I want to be with you forever, no matter what. Any days that you feel sorrow or loneliness, I want to fill that void in your heart. Dante. Dante tightened his grip on my hand and spoke to me with a renewed passion. For as long as I'm the Felzone boss, there may be others who come after me, looking to exact their revenge. Even so, you and I both know the pain of being alone. I want us to be a family now. His words left me breathless. Better be a goddamn proposal, fucking CG. No, but it's goddamn beautiful. Her eye's a little goofy, but it doesn't totally ruin the CG. It's just slightly goofy. You're like, her face is a little goofy, but like, goddamn, look how beautiful this man is. And that fucking sunset and the sunbeams all around him. It's just goddamn amazing. I want to create a home for you to return to, so that you never feel lonely again. You marry me. Ah! Fuck's sake, yes! You know what? That's the fucking fan disc we need. You have, like, we need the fluffy wedding scenarios. I need to get married. I need to see all our beautiful wedding dresses. His thoughts and feelings poured into me, filling my heart with the warmth of his love. Before I knew it, tears slowly began to fill my eyes. My lips quivered as I tried my best to respond, but all I could do was gaze up at him as my eyes burned with fresh tears. He's like, is that like a crying yes, or like, so happy. I want us to be a family too, Dante. I want to live with you forever. Aww, look at our beautiful end kissy scene. As if being pulled in by our desires, we came together in a passionate kiss. I wanted nothing more than to hold him in my arms and always feel him close to me. So incredibly happy. Me too. I gained new family today. When we first met, I had no idea how much our love for each other would grow. At last, we could always be together. The kiss we exchanged amidst the sunset was just as warm, beautiful, and filled with joy. I didn't know what our future would hold, but I knew his soul completed mine. Our life would have its share of difficulties, but it would be wonderfully happy as well. I wanted to go through it all with Dante. My heart hurts. I love it so much. The sun slowly set in the distance, and night would fall upon us for a time. Even then, the stars that shone in the dark sky would light our way. And if the sky was filled with dark clouds, stars would still be waiting there for us. As long as I could be with him, I would never be lost. We would continue on and walk together down the right path, toward a future I believed in with all my heart. It's so beautiful. This route really was the best. I think Dante's actually my favorite, I'm not gonna lie. I love my Phantom of the Casino, but I fucking love Dante to death. I mean, okay, like, Oliver is like, but he's not a love interest, so it doesn't really count, does he? Oh my god! At all the missing CGs for Dante. Wait, hold on. 1-1. That one's 2. 1-1-1 2. Okay. The one in the bed now. It's just because this is one of those ones that doesn't let you like click the button. Like A goes back instead of skip it. You know what I mean? I fucking love. I forgot how fucking cute it is. But then look, it's like this. This is exactly that fucking CG. This is baby Dante curled up with the baby kitten, and now he's curled up with us, and I can't handle it. Look at it!
I think that's my favorite CG in the game because it's so adorable. Look at his little sock garters. It's so adorable. He's so
I love it so fucking much. Oh my god. And then I love this, and he's just blushing. Oh, look at his sweet little face. I love Dante. You go from that sweetness to like, shut the fuck up. And it's like, obviously he's trying to protect. He doesn't want Nicola to know, like, shh, don't let Nicola know. But it is still kind of like, what is happening in this CG? It's a little sus, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know, but it's still funny. I lied. This is also one of my favorites in this fucking game. There's just something about this. It's just funny. Because they're like, fucking their bromance, and then they're just fighting over something stupid because neither one of them knows how to use words. Idiots. Oh, I love these two fucking morons. So adorable. And then this is beautiful. Look at our precious Dante. They're lacking with CGs. It's because there's so many between, and there's some in the bad endings, and then you get some in that Alternativa route. But it's just like, there's like half of our CGs are missing at this point, you know what I mean? It's beautiful. And then, like, this is, like, the perfect one to end it on, but at the same time, it's like... But his eyes are closing. Okay, fine. We'll just leave it here. Because otherwise, our other option, low-key, is, like, this one. No, fuck it. I love this one. Look at how adorable his goddamn blushing face is. I know it's not the kissy CG, but I love this. Look at his sweet little adorable blushy face. Just blushing. I can't. Okay. I gotta go before I fucking, like, literally have a brain aneurysm over this. But anyway, that was Dante's good route and happy ending and all of that. And it was beautiful and wonderful, and I loved it. I'm here for every moment of this. I'm still saying that we could have, like, the wedding fucking fan disc, right? But you gotta have a little bit of the twist in there because, like, the Luke one who's still fucking out there, motherfucker. Like, there's shit still going on. So, I'm just saying. You could have, like... Well, I wouldn't even complain if they were like, just let's not talk about that. Let's just literally have a fan disc that's just all about the weddings. But also, give us side character stories and let us date like everyone else. You know, there's a lot of people who want to date Roberto. Okay, I know there's a lot of people who be happy with the Leo route. And I'm just saying, I'm fucking here with a goddamn picket sign and everything for a fucking Oliver route, okay? Just saying. You know? Anyway, yeah, so we will do Dante's bad endings in the next part. Well, we'll start them because these are the ones that take like 2 parts to do. So first half of that will be not tomorrow, but the day after. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.